What's up, guys? Welcome back. This video is going to be a little bit of a tinkering video. Still related. We are going to try to rig up some aquarium lights that will be cost efficient, and hopefully they made it here safely. So I did order these from overseas because they were really cheap. It just took a while to get here. So there's just standard LED lights made for like under kitchen cabinet lighting, like, you know, make your kitchen fancy. I think it looks really nice, but I had an idea to use them for my aquarium rack, the 4-shelf one I have. This is what it looks like. So they're just LED bars that, let's see what they measure. They measure about 20 inches. So my shelf rack, I believe, is a roughly 32. So how many did I get? I got 6 of them. So originally I had planned to put a double row on each shelf, but I wanted to test to see how bright these were first. When you do buy them, you do have an option to choose the color temperature of whites, whether it's warm white, cool white, or daylight. I believe I chose cool white because that's just my personal preference, and that's the type of white light I like. But I have been digging the daylight, which is a little bit warmer. The warm white is just a little bit too yellow for me, so I know I didn't go that route. I don't remember which ones I was looking at. But with these lights, since they are just wired, it's going to take a little bit of tinkering. But I do want to test to see if they all work. So since it's just wired, you're going to have to purchase a power source. So what I did was I got these from Amazon. Came with a pack of 2, but they also came with these guys. All right. So I know this is 2 wires, so I got the one especially made for 2-pin. So you can put one of each wire in there, and then you just kind of screw it down so it clamps, and then take that, pop it in, and that should power it up. So if all goes well, they will power up. Now I don't know how much it matters. I don't think it does, of which one goes in which section, but I'm gonna have to strip these a little bit more. I don't know if it's focusing on my face or that, because there's, I don't know, like a centimeter that's stripped. So I'm gonna need to strip more to pop it in these guys, and also to tie them together. So essentially what's gonna look like is probably offset them a little bit. Actually, I don't know, maybe put them centered a few inches apart on the bottom of 3 shelves, because my top tank is open and I don't have a shelf on top of that. So 2, 4, 6, and then I'll just connect black to black, red to red, running all the way along all 6 of these lights, and then bring it down and then connect it to this guy. So that I'm gonna feed all the way down to plug into my power supply, and then the power plug, which is then going to plug into my power supply. So let me strip these wires down, and then let's do some testing. I'll show you how it looks like. All right, so I stripped them all. Some of them I accidentally cut off and cut too short because I was too lazy to go get my wire stripper. So I was using scissors, and then a razor blade ended up working out a little bit better. So all the wires are stripped, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to test them. So when we test them, I'm going we're gonna pop each wire into here. You can see, let's see, looks like that. So we're gonna have one wire, that goes in each section, and the top looks like this, where you're gonna open them up and then tighten them to secure them in place. All right, so what we're gonna do is test them. I popped on the female part to the light, and then I'm gonna put this adapter in, and then once I plug it in, you should see it light up, and there it goes. So that is a pretty cool white. And then what should happen is when I attach these black to black, red to red, they will link up, and there it goes. All right, so essentially all 6 of these are going to be looped in together, kind of daisy linked, daisy chained, and we'll pop them on top of the tanks. But yeah, 20 long is like a 12 inch depth, so this should be plenty enough. And then above the tank I've got about 4 inches to the shelf, so what was that, like 16 inches? I think these would be great. So let me get that set up. We're going to use this wire to kind of make the extensions. So this will be sitting, this was the shelf right here, this will be sitting there, and then they've got to go all the way up another about 16 to 18 inches to connect to the next row. Because ultimately, I want these 3 sets of lights to use one outlet. If it'll work, I don't know. I think there is enough power to do that, but I'm running out of outlet space, so something like this could definitely help. So let's... Okay, so I want to do a little bit of testing of seeing about how it's going to look on the tanks. So the idea is to mount them above the tank like this, but I don't know if that's going to be enough light, as if they were just closer to the tank. So I'm going to have to think about it a little bit. I might just brainstorm it and try to do something like the previous DIY and have that little gutter piece and mount 2. So I don't know if 2 of these going across is going to provide me enough light I want. Plus, mounting up here does give a lot of bleeding to the back walls. So we might have to go get the gutter piece and try that. Some of these things aren't spaced evenly. I think these connections are coming loose. Alright. So that's what it looks like compared to this, and this looks a lot better. Looks more lit up than if it were up here. Yeah, I'll fix that connection. I think they're just crossing. All right, so let me go ahead. Probably have to continue this video tomorrow when the store's open and after I get some more parts, doing some brainstorming. All right. So this is the gutter piece I was talking about. It's a C shape. I went to the store. They didn't sell it anymore, but luckily I still had this, and it's exactly perfect dimensions of what I need. They only have the K shapes, which look like that, and while you could use it, I think this looks a lot better for lighting. Almost looks like the standard stock aquarium lights. So we're gonna paint this. What I did already was I sanded it down a little bit so the paint could stick better. And then I'm gonna cut it up and paint it. Okay, so it's the next day. I got that figured out. I spray painted The gutter is black, and then I added aluminum tape on the inside. I know LEDs get pretty hot. I don't even know if it's gonna help, but just to kind of do a heat dispersion. They've already come on like a steel or aluminum backing, but it might help. I don't know, just for good measure, I added that. I was contemplating if I wanted to do some on the sides just for more reflections, but that's the main reason I didn't paint the inside, is because white will reflect light more than black. So in this, hoping that it shoots more downwards than bleed off to the sides. So it's kind of set up how I want it to be. I've just got to connect these now, black to black, red to red, and then add the extensions so they can connect and connect to each light. So essentially all of the blacks will be connected and all the reds will be connected on one side each. And then from there, I've got to get it connected to a longer piece, which is going to connect to the adapter. So let me figure that out. And then once I have that all set up, we'll continue. All right, what I'm doing now, I kind of tested it out. For some reason, the electrical is not working exactly how I wanted it to, but it's working in a different way. So I'm just taking some mounting tape and mounting it on here, and then I'll figure out, I'll do the electrical testing. Something you guys always want to do when doing pretty much anything is before you complete it, you always want to test it to make sure it's going to work how you're going to want it to. Then you don't have to start over or disassemble the whole thing because it didn't work. So always test before you complete it. All right, so I'm just gonna measure these up and place them on here.
All I want, me and you.
product on one of them. I duct taped off the sides because they don't sell the end caps for these anymore. And then I was originally just going to drill a hole for the wires to come out, but I just cut a slit in there and then kind of patched up a little bit with more tape. I put the extra around the sides so it looked a little bit cleaner. And then that's how it looks. Let's test it. Boom. All right. So that will be one light. All right. Whether I'm going to put it on top of the aquariums or hang it from the bottom of the shelf above it, I'm not sure yet, but let's link these all together and then we'll test it out. First two are connected, so we're gonna make sure and test this last one. Always test to work. And then this is the final test. See if this will happen how I want it to, and it does. So the first one that goes directly to the power is the brightest. The second one, a little bit less, and then the third, even less so. So keep that in mind when you guys are, if you guys do this. Yeah, you can, I think that will show on camera, because I can see it totally. All right, finally everything's good to go. They're all wired up, connected, taped off. So, final test, fingers crossed, because if something's wrong, then we've got to backtrack a lot. So luckily I did, dozens of testings. So this should work. And we're good. So, we are. It is a little bit dimmer on this side. So I might have to put these directly on the glass of the aquarium. But let's see how it looks. So far, this is the current setup. All three lights are different lights. While it looks okay, just looking at them, all four actually. So they're all different lights. So while looking at them, it's not bad, but I feel like just to level it up a little bit, it would look nice if they were all similar lighting. My filter's not moving. Okay. So this is what it looks like right now. I'm gonna shut them all off and then let's see what it looks like adding these on. Like I said, the last light that's connected in the chain is gonna be the dimmest. So technically if I want it closer to the outlets, this would be my first, second, third, but I might switch that around and have this be the brightest, middle, and then the darkest. I'm still deciding. So I've got my Shelleys down here, just got my Endlers here, and then my green Tetras. Those aren't necessarily the permanent homes, it's just how it's set up currently. Shelleys are probably gonna always stay down there because I'm not gonna move it, I'm not gonna switch them around. And they're thriving, they're already having babies, so they look good. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these two tanks. I guess let's figure it out. None of them necessarily need bright lights. I mean, I've got some plants in here, but it's a Java fern and some hornwort, so they can do fine with very minimal lighting. So let's just put them on. We're going from brightest to darkest and see if there's much of a difference. So I was disconnecting my lights, and something I wanted to try and I tested and it works was the power supply I bought for these lights is a 12 volt. I disconnected one of my lights and my beams work is a 15 volt. What happens when I pop them in? So here's the 12 volt, the one that I originally was going to do it. That's what it looks like. That's how bright it is. I'm going to try to switch it real quick to the 15 volt. It's a lot brighter. It still does get dimmer as we go, but it is a lot brighter since it's more voltage going into the lights. So I think powering 3 lights, it might work out. I don't know if that's overkill. Hopefully it's not gonna burn my house down and there's an electrician who's gonna tell me if this is okay or not. But I think we might try it. Let's see what it looks like. So what we're going for here is more of a even look. So I don't know, this is the brightest, the 15 volt compared to the 12 volt. So it is pretty dim. So it might be okay. I'm gonna switch it one more time. It's 12, 15. I know these are probably glaring in the camera, but the darkest does look a lot better. The question is, how bright is the brightest? So I guess we could test them out on this side first. All the lights are plugged in and they're, you know, almost perfectly spaced out by the amount of cord that are connecting. I mean, in hindsight, I might have wanted to make it a little bit longer, but it's almost exact. So let's try the original, and that's how it looks. Not bad. I mean, it's certainly doable. Like, I don't think it's bad. I'm trying to see what it looks like on camera. Yeah, you know, I mean, compared to my top tank, which has the insanely strong LED on there, and you can see that I've slowly started adding some plants. If I lower this, I mean, it almost, it looks all right. The bottom doesn't look too bad. Then now let's compare it to the 15 volt. Yeah, that's a lot brighter. And I think that works better. I think we're gonna stick with the 15 volt. Yeah, I think it looks, you know, the lighting is similar. This thing's so dirty on the inside. So is this one. Better light shows me that I need to clean my tanks. I think the 15 volt works. So, barring any setbacks and electrical issues, I went from 3 outlets to 1. So I think that's a success. I think the lights are a success. Eventually I want to get some covers, whether it be some kind of fabric or just putting some thin plywood sheets and painting it black just so it looks a lot more clean. But that's for another video. Let me know what you guys think, all right? Hopefully this helps some of you guys, and hopefully you guys learned something. Thanks for watching.